ونحن حينما نصارح بسياستنا لا يهمنا أن يزعل الغرب أو أن يتكدر الشرق، لأن الشرق والغرب اتفقوا على هضم حقوق العرب وسلبهم أراضيهم المقدسة، ولكننا ندافع عن مبدأ ندين به بعد الله وبعد عقيدتنا الإسلامية بأن العرب يجب أن ندافع عن حقوقهم.
King Faisal Al Saud of Saudi Arabia was born in Riyadh in 1906. He is the third son of kingdom's founder, King Abdulaziz bint Abdul Rahman Al Saud. He lost his mother, Tarfa binti Abdullah binti Abdul Latif Al Sheikh, when he was just 5 months old, and was raised by his grandfather, Abdullah binti Abdul Latif. His grandfather taught him the Quran and the principles of Islam by the age of 9. As one of King Abdulaziz's eldest son, Prince Faisal was delegated numerous responsibilities, one being consolidating control over Arabia. Examples of achievement include the capture of Hel and Asir in 1922. There, he was sent with nearly 6,000 fighters. He achieved complete control over Asir at the end of the year. In 1925, while in the command of an army of Saudi loyalists, he won a decisive victory in the Hijaz. With such achievements, Prince Faisal became Minister of Foreign Affairs in 1930, a position he continues to hold throughout his reign. After Saud's accession in 1953, Faisal became Crown Prince and Foreign Minister. In 1958, during an economic crisis, Saud gave him full executive powers, and in March 1964, he assumed all powers as Viceroy. Saud was deposed by religious leaders, senior members of the ruling family, and the Council of Ministers, and Faisal became king in November 1964. King Faisal established his reputation for reforming and modernizing. He established education for women and girls. This was introduced despite the objections of many conservatives in the religious establishment. Slavery was also a key concern to the king. It did not vanish in Saudi Arabia until King Faisal issued a decree. He led the policy for the establishment of slavery in 1962, freeing approximately 10,000 from captivity. King Faisal maintained close alliance with the United States initiated by his father. He relied heavily on the United States for arming and training of Saudi forces. King Faisal was also strictly against communist regime. He refused any political ties with Soviet Union and other communist allied countries, professing them to have a complete incompatibility between communism and Islam. King Faisal also supported monarchist and conservative movements in the Arab world. To that end, he called for the establishment of World Muslim League, visiting Muslim countries to advocate the ideology. The new oil revenues allowed Faisal to greatly increase the aid and subsidies to Egypt, Syria and Palestine during the 1967 Arab-Israel War. During the 1973 Arab-Israel War, in protest over Western support for Israel during the conflict, King Faisal withdrew Saudi oil from global markets. This action exaggerated oil prices and was the primary force behind the 1973 energy crisis. It was to be the defining act of King Faisal's career, gaining him lasting prestige globally and among those of the Arab community. With the defeat of Egypt in 1967 June War and the death of Nasser 3 years later, Saudi Arabia emerged as the contested leader of the Arab world. Given its oil resources and religious significance, King Faisal promoted the country as an alternative to the revolutionary Arab regime of 1960s by adopting the pan-Islamic agenda. King Faisal was assassinated by his nephew, Prince Faisal bin Musaid Al Saud, on 25th March 1975, presumably in revenge for the death of the Prince Faisal's brother, Prince Khalid bin Musaid, in 1960s at the hand of Saudi security forces.